Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Tanek127, and welcome back to Tanek FPS. And guys, before we get into today's video, I do want to apologize and say that I'm sorry it's been a week without uploads, but here's what happened. My birthday came around, did a big stream for my birthday and things like that. And I was even taking some light time with both of my channels because I was spending a little bit of time with family. Well, right after my birthday, I ended up getting a phone call saying that more family was going to be coming by and spending about a week with us. So therefore, I had a really crowded household and just an environment that was damn near impossible to record in, even with the soundproofing and stuff I have. So do forgive me for that. But anyway, to make up for it, I'm going to go ahead and give away a fresh Rogue Company item right here on the screen. Papow! Take that and enjoy it. I'm not going to say what it is, just a little mystery item to use in Rogue Company. Remember to go into the Rogue Company shop and make sure you hit redeem code to use this item. Do not use it on any specific platform store, not in the Xbox store, PlayStation store, or anything like that. Use it directly in the Rogue Company shop. Let me know who gets it, and do that by telling me what the item is down in the comments below. But anyway, in today's video, guys, do enjoy the gameplay because this is actually gameplay from my birthday stream. It's me, my girl, and my buddy Asylum X Productions, all playing some Rogue Company. I'll leave links to their Twitch channels and stuff like that down in the description below if you want to check them out. I got a really interesting topic that I want to talk about here on today's video. Now, by the time you guys are watching this, a new Rogue update will be here, so I feel like it's a great time to address this topic. And this topic is the Nintendo Switch with Rogue Company, and not just Rogue Company, but all of HI REZ Studios games when it comes to Switch. Now, all the Switch titles for HI REZ, they all have one thing in common. They are absolute crash fest. And that goes for Rogue Company, that goes for Paladins, and that goes for Smite. Now, I'm no game developer, but I'm going to probably try and explain the reason why. And one big change I think the Switch version of not just Rogue Company, but all three of these games need to make so that way they run more stable on that platform. Because the Switch can handle these games. No problem. No problem at all. The Switch is more than capable of running these games. Unreal Engine 3 and 4 run great on Nintendo Switch, and many other companies have proved that. But there's one thing that HI REZ does differently that they deserve respect for, but it might just be honestly too much for the platform. One thing about HI REZ games is they always promise to deliver 60 FPS, even on Nintendo Switch. They love to give that pristine experience, and bravo, big props to HI REZ for doing that. You know, I'm never going to knock any kind of developer for making that achievement on the Nintendo Switch, but here's the thing, and this is just my opinion, so don't shoot me, but the 60 FPS on Switch needs to go. They need to drop it down to 30. Now, there's a lot of games and a lot of shooters on Switch and stuff like that that do play and run just fine, crossplay with other platforms, but they're running at 30 FPS on Switch. Look at Fortnite, for example. I've played Fortnite in lobbies on Switch with PC players, and I didn't have much trouble competing. I've played Overwatch on Switch, you know, with crossplay on it now. Same thing. Both of these games run at 30 FPS. Now, 30 FPS, you know, isn't optimal, isn't, you know, everybody's favorite choice. You know, it's not the words everybody wants to hear, especially with the next-gen consoles out now, hitting 120 in a lot of these games and stuff like that. 30 FPS is the last thing on everybody's mind. But if you're a Switch player, you've probably come to terms with this. A lot of games on Switch do run at 30 FPS. There's especially not too many multiplayer games that run at 60 frames per second. Now, the thing we have to remember about Nintendo Switch is Nintendo Switch more so favors mobile architecture than PC, unlike, you know, the consoles do. The 8th generation consoles, they did the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and the 9th generation consoles, the PlayStation 5, Series X and S, they all favor a more PC-like architecture. So these consoles hitting those higher frame rates and everything, you know, it's a lot easier for these consoles. But the Switch is basically a beefed up mobile device. Granted, while it's capable of, you know, of doing some pretty hefty damage, and there are some games that do run at a solid 60 FPS on Switch, a lot of these HI REZ titles, I'm afraid, just can't handle it. And it's especially because, you know, they're taxing competitive games. For example, Paladins, it's a hero shooter. There's tons of crazy effects and stuff going on the screen. Every time you play 2 or 3 matches of Paladins, what happens? Crash. Same thing with Smite. Play a few matches. Crash. Rogue Company can crash anytime. It's had that problem ever since it came out on Switch. Now again, I applaud them for doing that. The game, honestly, you know, when it's running really well and not crashing, it runs superb on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch used to be my main platform. But the reason I also wanted to bring this up is because recently, as you guys know, the new update's also here. And Switch is now not included in the new 6v6 modes, which are the 6v6 Team Deathmatch and the 6v6 King of the Hill. If you guys didn't know, Switch is being left out because of hardware complications. Well, one thing that's probably the problem for, you know, the Switch to handle is the 2 extra players, you know, the extra gunfights coming from those. I'm sorry, not even 2 extra players, 4 extra players, 2 extra players on each team. The 4 extra players coming in, those extra gunfights, extra ability animations and stuff like that. I bet you it would be a lot easier for the console to handle if the game ran at 30 FPS. Now, I'm not saying that's a guarantee. I'm not saying that's promised. I'm not a game developer, and I'm not going to sit here and act like one. But I definitely think if Hi Rez decide to tone the frame rate down with a lot of their Nintendo Switch titles, this would definitely help the Switch, you know, keep up in some of those areas. You wouldn't have as many performance issues. You wouldn't be crashing every 5 minutes. It would be able to hang, you know, with higher player count games like what they're doing with Rogue Company. And if the thing is, if they keep this path with the Switch, they're going to have to, you know, not include the console with a lot more things that they plan to do. Like, say Paladins wants to do something like this one day. There's no way in hell Switch will handle Paladins with a few extra players on it, because Paladins, that's a beefy, demanding one, even though that's running on Unreal Engine 3. Same thing with Smite. There's a lot of, you know, just special effects and everything that go on in those games that go crazy that the Switch, you know, just can't handle at some of those higher frame rates. Running games at 30 FPS on Switch isn't a bad thing. It's fine. It just needs to be at a stable 30 FPS. And I feel like if Hi Rez can pull that off on Nintendo Switch with a lot of their titles, people will be a lot more satisfying and accepting of them. Now, granted, like I said, Hi Rez deserves all the props in the world because these guys always go for that 60 FPS target on a very underpowered console. But I think, you know, we need to just start being realistic about it and realize that Switch can't handle it. But anyway, guys, that's just me and my personal opinion. Let me know how y'all are feeling and thinking about that down in the comments below. But anyway, y'all enjoyed today's video, smash that like button, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Take care.